KKTV 11 Sports with Richie Cozzolino.
It's only year 2 of a full-fledged girls state championship, and while most programs are still getting off the ground in Colorado, it's Doherty that is ahead of the curve. Teams that win Game 5 of a series tied 2-2 win that series almost 80% of the time. And that is the situation we find ourselves in tonight. General Manager George Payton, he told us yesterday this was going to be a comprehensive and collaborative process, and today we've already seen they're casting a pretty wide net. Today's game at AT&T Stadium, I think a game only Broncos fans could have dreamt of. I've been waiting for this moment, Taylor.
Yeah.
I'm going to catch a ball. Tonight's the night. The first 750 fans that get through the gates this afternoon at Wander Field are going to get one of these shirts to commemorate the moment. And also, if you're coming, don't forget these masks still required. So how does a town of 50 pay for a $450,000 new field? Well, of course, you ask the internet. Obviously, the Switchbacks must be excited about a new downtown arena, but why should fans be excited about it as well? Daniel will be the 18th head coach in Broncos history. It's interesting because GM George Payton decides to focus on offense with this hire rather than defense. Stunning. I mean, we knew it was going to be a close game. It's the state title game for crying out loud, but I don't think we expected a Palmer Ridge defeat of this magnitude. This is pork-a-nuts. Pork and coconut combination. Even the dirt here at Widener Field is state-of-the-art. You guys are winless against Patrick Mahomes since 2015. Frowny face since the Peyton Manning days.
How about them Broncos, as Jimmy Johnson used to say?
Utter annihilation in Arlington. The Broncos telling us with clear and strong messaging that they are not done with this season quite yet. Good evening and welcome out to AT&T Stadium in Texas. I'm Richie Cozzolino. Do not let that final score fool you. Yes, it was 30-16 Broncos, but this was complete domination from start to finish. The Broncos walked into a Cowboy Stadium with Dallas being 6-1 and walked out with one of the most complete performances you're ever going to see.
Just kudos to the players. They had the right mindset. They bought into what we had to do to have a chance to slow them down, and we did more than slow them down.
Today, I'm calling this vindication for Vic Fangio. Once the Broncos sent Von Miller away at the deadline, they could have folded. Instead, suffocating defense, stellar offense. This team still very much fighting for the postseason.
Always said, doing something and accomplishing something gives you confidence and belief. You don't need to go sit on some psychologist's couch and get it. That's just a bunch of okay? You got to do it on the field between the white lines. You got to do it with your actions, not with your words, okay? And we did that today.
The tone of this game was established early. Denver stopped the Cowboys twice on 4th down, which on the surface is just a couple great plays. But it revved this Broncos team up, I think, more than anybody realized. So many players had one word for it.
Disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's disrespectul. They trying us, and that's what happens when you try us. So, and I don't say that because y'all gonna quote the hell out of that.
And the defense went on to pitch a goose egg. No points allowed until the final 5 minutes of this game. Just listen to some of these stats. 140 total yards of offense allowed until midway through the 4th. Dak Prescott and this Dallas Cowboys offense was the best passing team in the country up until today. The defense knew they were capable of a game like this, and they proved it this afternoon.
We won. We executed. Obviously, it might be a surprise to a lot of people, but that's the standard. It really speaks to the guys that are in the locker room. You know, you handle that. You handled the trade with Von one way or the other. You know, and I think you saw today how guys responded, and that's the standard.
There's so many positives from this one. The offense coming alive. 30 points, that's a season high. Bridgewater efficient in the pocket. He had time to throw 250 yards and a score. But more than that, Denver established a lead early. Finally, got the running game involved. Finally, rookie Javonte Williams had 111 yards. They had the ball for 41 minutes of this game. We were waiting for the offense to put it together, and finally, against a Super Bowl contender, they did.
And we knew we were due for one of these days, and we've been waiting on it. We've been putting in a lot of work. Just had to get it going, and just stuck to it all day. We knew we could run the ball in this team, so it was good to finally break through.
Guys practice with a sense of urgency. Guys, went into meeting rooms with laser focus. Guys were locked in on the game plan, and when you combine all those things, you can come away with a victory like today.
We also can't ignore just how loud the crowd was in orange and blue today. Broncos country showing out here at AT&T Stadium, and they picked up the tone, especially as the game went on.
Yeah, I saw a lot of orange out there. It was great. Great to see all our fans traveling. A lot of our families came. Pretty much my whole family was here, so it was great.
It's an old adage, but it definitely applies any given Sunday. The Broncos move up to 5-4 on the season, and if you can believe it, within one game of first place in the AFC West. They have one final test before their bye week. They will host the Philadelphia Eagles next Sunday at Mile High. With the Broncos at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, I'm Richie Cozzolino, KKTV 11 Sports.
A year ago, it was called the worst football field in America. Well, look at Branson now, a town of just 50 managing to rally together and raise $500,000 for a new football field. It saved the sport in their town, and they made sure to celebrate. 11 Sports reporter Richie Cozzolino was there to recap a life-changing day for the Bearcats.
On a mostly abandoned stretch of the old Santa Fe Trail, one new upgrade stands out a bit from the cow pastures.
It's great. It's beautiful. It's an accomplishment they can be proud of.
I think I have wounds on my body from pinching myself because this isn't even possible. I don't know how this happened.
Oh, this is so cool. It's been a dream. Washing muddy jerseys was never no fun.
A year back, this, a dirt pit with gopher holes all around, other teams saying it wasn't safe to play on and refusing to come to Branson.
When they say pasture, they're not lying. It was a straight up pasture.
Pasture would be a nice way to say it.
Yeah, honestly.
If you weren't bleeding after practice from the Russian Thistle, you weren't doing it right.
To save football, a fundraiser was formed. The town of 50 miraculously pulling in more than $500,000 and Branson tripling in size for their first game.
It was special. It was special for a lot of reasons. To realize where we started, you know, and our identity was that field, so it was a little sad, to be honest. I loved playing on our piece of crap field. Just because that we played football like that too. We knew we were a bunch of country kids who played country football.
The country folk christening the field off right. A 72-14 win, Branson dominating Deer Trail in their first game on the new AstroTurf. Their small six-man team scoring early and often, and following the game, this special day not lost on the small-town heroes.
It's probably been one of the biggest days of my life. Like this morning, I just woke up, I was like, wow, it's really happening.
Branson and its one paved road might not exist without a few hardworking families. Now the next class of Bearcats has a field of dreams that previous ones would hardly believe.
I'm a sixth-generation family. My great-grandpa played sports here at Branson, and it's just great to see all the generations that have been passed down through and how much this community comes together over football.
If your great-grandpa could see this field today.
Oh, man, that'd be crazy. I don't think he'd believe it. He'd be awestruck.
The Super Bowl is the biggest stage in sports, but I think we can all agree that it's a lot more fun when your hometown team is a part of it. So I locked 11 Sports reporter Richie Cozzolino up in a room and told him to come up with Denver's path back to glory.
I have been tasked with figuring out how the Broncos win the Super Bowl again. I've not used PowerPoint since 2008. This should be interesting. Step number one, you re-sign your good players. Justin Simmons, Cortland Sutton. These are good football players. Pay them, that's what the red arrows indicate. Why would you get rid of Hall of Fame players on your roster? All right, the future. Step number two, George Payton, the GM. You gotta get some free agents, get some stars, get Broncos country excited about this place again, right? Make them sparkle. We got more faces. You wanna see them? I'm gonna put them on the wall for you. Gotta spend money to make money. Spend money to make money. All right, step number three, this is very important for Broncos fans. Stop losing to the Chiefs. You guys are winless against Patrick Mahomes since 2015. Frowny face since the Peyton Manning days. People don't like seeing that. They want to keep the fans happy. Number four, of course. There was practically nobody in Empower Field this year. I don't know what that's all about. And when they go to other facilities, the fans don't seem to be very pleased with the product. Is it getting a little hot in here? Is it just me? Whew, okay, feeling better. Next up, running back situation. About the running back situation. Philip Lindsay, Melvin Gordon, yeah, they're both great. Put them all together. Let's make Millip Gornsney. Why not? I don't know why he's white. I'm sure he's gonna be a star. Saves him $8 million, right? Oh boy, okay. Deshaun Watson, the free agent signing that everybody wants. Who's better? I don't think there's much of a question, but can the Broncos get this guy? Kareem Jackson, we're hoping for you. Put him in orange, the guy of the future, right? Derek Carr, this Vegas guy, want to go to Broncos country? Why not? There is a solution to this puzzle. We just have to put it together. Okay. It might seem a little crazy, but think about it. Besides Peyton Manning, who's won a playoff game? Right? In conclusion, you're welcome, Broncos country. What was this story about again?
Richie Cozzolino taking it back to the drawing board. Thank you, Richie.
As Air Force boxers prepare for next week's postseason, there will be a notable absence in the Falcons lineup. Reigning national champion Shawn Chives won't get the chance to defend his belt. Instead, his career was cut short, and he'll be spending the next month in and out of hospitals after getting some devastating news. Here's the story of Shawn's next fight. What could bring one of the country's best boxers to tears? To understand the emotion from Shawn Chives' last fight, you need to go back to one of his first.
Got beat up by one of the guys that's on the team right now, and I remember telling one of my coaches, I don't want that to ever happen again. What do we got to do?
Shawn never stepped into a ring until he arrived at Air Force, but it wasn't long until he was turning heads, especially in his junior year.
He really just caught fire in March and April. Everybody that stepped in the ring with him knew the kind of power he had in his hands, and he was doing a lot of damage.
I mean, that guy, he might have a relatively slight stature, but his hands hit heavy.
Last year, that passion paid off for Shawn, a national champ at 132 pounds, etching his name into Falcon history.
It was amazing to have all your energies and all your effort, hard work to finally pay off and get what you wanted in the end.
Shawn is an animal. You know, I mean, that guy in the ring, outside of the ring, he's dedicated to his craft. He's dedicated to the craft of his teammates. Completely selfless. He's a model leader.
Fast forward to the 2020 season, Shawn, now a senior, ready to defend his belt when life threw a sucker punch.
I slipped, fell, hit my leg on the stairs, and I was in a tremendous amount of pain. One that I'm not usually used to. I thought nothing of it, said I should be fine, but it just persisted. The pain was still there.
After bouncing between specialists, Shawn finally got the news: sarcoma, cancer in the tissue of his leg. Weeks before the postseason, Shawn's boxing career was done.
I definitely got frustrated. There were some times where I was asking why, and it was, I think, my mom that kind of had me realize, God has a different path for you. Don't ask why. Ask him to open your eyes to see what path, what can I be? Maybe I'm inspiration.
His final fight in the ring at last week's Wing Open. Of course, a victory for Shawn and an emotional moment for all.
You react how they react, and Shawn was all about strength and embracing this as a fight. So when he comes at it and is like, I'm ready for a fight, I'm going to win this one too, that kind of sets the tone for everybody else.
Shawn's next fight, chemotherapy. It's one bout he doesn't plan on battling alone.
Love this team so much where it didn't really matter at the end. They had my back, and I will always have theirs.
If anyone's capable of, taking this journey on with a full head of steam and a full heart, it's Shawn Chives.
Shawn had surgery to remove a tumor in his leg yesterday. He'll start chemo in a couple weeks. His plans after that, he said, graduation, future deployment, and his wedding in October. In studio, Richie Cozzolino, KKTV 11 Sports.